everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Kim at Touch of Magic. Today's video is kind of a 3-for-1. I've got a couple of cards I've made for hops this week over on Instagram, and I'm making one more for our monthly YouTube hop. This one is hosted by Cecilia at Valley Oak Paper. The theme this month is winter holidays. I'm doing some kind of traditional Christmas cards. I started this, I was doing a Hero Arts stamp-along class from 2021. And I made this one. So this is slightly different than what was taught because I did it on craft, not a pale gray. And then it reminded me of things that I don't do very often, which is I don't use colored cardstock all that often. And I don't use my pigment inks very often. So I moved that into another card that I made for a hop on Friday, December the 13th, which technically is today that I'm filming this. This is for my Theme Friday hop, which is every 2 weeks on Instagram. And our theme for this week was a technique you don't use very often or a new technique to you and some sparkle and shine. So I did gold embossing powder on colored cardstock with some gold shimmer paper. Gold is a color I don't use a whole lot. Craft I don't use a whole lot. Pigment inks that these are colored with. So expanding horizons a little. So I'm going to take these two and I'm going to step it again for today's hop and challenge you to do the same thing. Not necessarily the same products if you don't have them, but you can take what you have, stretch your supplies a little bit. Hero Arts is a favorite. And I'm going to run with it today. So I'm going to show you what I did with these ones. So I heat embossed in silver. And then I did a really quick ink blend around each of the ornaments to give it a halo of color. And then I used the stencils that come with this kit, which are all the different shapes of the ornaments. And I used the stencils to highlight certain sections. And I did the same here, although I kept it contained within the ornaments. And you can see here, I did it in red sparkle embossing powder, which is from Brutus Monroe. And then white pigment ink to highlight the design on the craft. And with this, you can also use just the stencils to create the ornaments, and then you can die cut them out. And I did these ones on the gold on the craft. So I've made a lot of these because I tend to make a lot of stuff when I have my supplies out, and I wanted to use all of them. So we're going to move into that. Okay, I'm going to start with a panel here. This is just a regular A2 panel in the Hero Arts Mist cardstock. I've got it in my Misty, and I'm going to use the what they call a cling stamp. I'm going to set that in here relatively straight. I've got some temporary tape on the back of my panel to hold that down. So I'm going to do some tone on tone stamping. I'm going to use Soft Pool from Hero Arts. The idea is to add some texture to the background without it being what overshadows the whole card. It's not the focus, it's just the background. Use my little stamp press tool here. You can see that that's showing up, and I'm going to give it one more coat. The Soft Pool is a really pale color. I'm still using my original inks from Hero Arts. They're what I have. I have most of their line that way. There we go. So I'm just going to set that aside and let it dry for a moment. What I'm using today is the Holiday Ornaments bundle. I have the stamps, I have the dies, and I do have the stencils to go with it. They are, there's the other one. And I'm going to die cut these out, and then we'll start with assembly on the card. I have my Hero Arts compact cutter that grips to my glass mat, which is awesome. I'm going to cut this apart. Leave enough room to be able to use the dies properly. Okay, so I have these cut out. One of them, because I didn't put my head over it when I was doing it, it is slightly offset. So I'm just going to trim that one out with a pair of scissors. This has now dried nicely. I'm hoping that the camera will pick up the very subtle tone on tone back here with that. And I've got my ornaments, and then I'm just going to trim this down, I think. I tend to like a matte. And I'm going to take this down to 4 by 5 1/4. So just take a quarter inch off of each side. That will give a nice framing on my card base. All right, my idea for this one is I have a set here. This is the Mushroom and Ferns Fancy Dies. I was thinking I'd like a branch, but I'm not stamping because I don't have one that quite works the way I would like. So I think we're going to try some improvisation here. I'm thinking if I use that like that with the die, then it will look like a tree branch and I can hang the ornaments off of it. So I'm going to cut that out of some cardstock. Not sure what color yet, so give me a second and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have cut that out of some silver shimmer because I want to tie in the color of the silver embossing here. And I'm going to do a little bit of, there they are, sorry, reaching across. A little bit of placement planning here. And I think color palette wise, we'll do a little bit of a mix. So some nice pastels there, I think. And then that'll dangle. And then I just got to figure out where I want to put sentiment. So I drop those down. I can put the sentiment across the top, above the branch. I can put it in here, or I can pop that up. Isn't this the hardest part when we make things? Is that final placement? It just takes forever. And then I think the sentiment down here. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick all this down. I'm going to put a sentiment on, and I will be back in a sec. Okay, I've reset it in here. I wasn't convinced that was straight. And I didn't want to put my head in the camera. There we go. Oh yeah, I like the tone on tone. Sometimes it's a fly by the seat of my pants. Some days I plan ahead. This is about a half and half. I had actually filmed it yesterday to find out that only 3 minutes of my filming actually recorded. So starting from scratch today. Gonna let that dry for a second. We'll start with putting adhesive on the back of my petal. I've got the little tiny bottle. It's Hero Arts. I find this very handy. I like the little fine tip, which I got through Simon Says Stamp. Makes it very easy to deal with small things like these. Alrighty, let's position this kind of across the top here on the edge. There we go. That'll work. And I think I'm going to stagger those just to go with the height of the branch. I'm going to tack these down, and then I'll use a fine liner to draw the strings to attach it to the branches. I'll speed through that. So what I did here is I decided to pop it up and give a little dimension to this center one. And I've added a little bit of liquid adhesive on the back of foam squares. Again, that just gives it a little float time so you have a little bit of movement to get it set where you like it. That's a Kathy Zilski trick that I've borrowed. Okay, looking straight. Got them staggered a little. All right, I am happy with how that looks. I'm gonna get that the lines drawn and then back up, get it onto a card base. In the process of rearranging my studio, I have lost my proper fine liner, so I'm just going to use a Sharpie here. I'm going to put a dot here and then over the ornament itself like it's a string tied, and then up into the branch. And I've got my card base right here, a little more liquid adhesive. Try not to put my head in the center here, but it is definitely harder to do this when I'm not looking straight down. Just tilt it a little, see where we are. Okay. And there we have it. A little bit of tone on tone color with paper, nice soft pastels, a little bit of embossing, and I've still got a couple more, so I can make a tag to go with it if I want something to match it. I do hope you'll give it a try. I will have all the links in the description below of anything that is available product. I am an affiliate for Hero Arts amongst other companies, so if you do shop with my links, I do earn a small commission, which helps support my channel and keep it growing. I do hope you have liked this. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. It is so appreciated. If you haven't already, please subscribe. You can also ring the bell for notifications so that you'll know when I'm putting out another video. I will also be sure that everybody is linked below for the hop today, and I do hope you will hop along and see them and give them some love on all their efforts as well. Thank you so very much. I will see you again soon. Happy holidays.